So I'm sorry, the Noble Lord has repeated a statement he made in the introduction about saying that it's only the clear-cut cases. Can the Noble Lord then explain how in the year to August, that in just one city, the city of Leeds, that 30 children had been assessed by the Home Office at initial arrival as adults and were immediately identified by people in Leeds who said, these are children? Will those children not face the potential of ionising radiation and other medical procedures as a result of this regulation?
I'm not familiar with the case that the Noble Lady refers to, so I'll have to look into it, I'm afraid. Individuals will be assessed for their fitness to undergo scientific age assessment, and that will include a consideration of both mental and physical health. The individual will not undergo scientific age assessment if they refuse to consent. Reasonable grounds for refusal will be set out in guidance and considered on a case-by-case basis. Appropriate adults, translators and others will be available to support the young person. And if a young person is assessed as lacking the capacity to consent, they will not undergo any such methods, and negative credibility inference will not be taken. My Lords, on the subject of negative inference, provisions under the Nationality and Borders Act of 2022 allow for decision makers to make a negative inference. As I've said, the Home Office consider negative inference to be proportionate to prevent individuals from deliberately frustrating the system. And there is precedent in other legislation of negative consequences being applied where an individual refuses to submit to a medical examination. For example, an individual may be asked to undergo a medical examination to determine their eligibility for employment and support allowance. If they fail to undergo such an assessment, they will be treated as ineligible. Therefore, consent can still be informed and freely given, even if there is a negative consequence for a refusal to give that consent. It's important to note that taking a negative inference from a refusal to consent does not result in an automatic assumption that the individual is an adult, but rather the negative inference is taken into account as part of the overall decision on age. A decision maker can still assess an individual to be a child following the holistic age assessment process, even if they do refuse to consent to scientific methods without good reason. To answer the Noble Lord Ponsonby and the Noble Baroness Lady Hamwee about monitoring and review,